Hello students, today we will do the textual exercise. The first three questions are very simple and MCQ based. You have to directly apply the formulas. I have written the given quantities of the question. You refer the question from the textbook. Now the first sum, which is the direct application of Coulomb's law. Now let us see what is given. Two charges having magnitude 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb and 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb are separated by 30 centimeter, and you have to find out the force of interaction between them. So clearly the first step is this 30 centimeter should be converted into the meter, so that is 30 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Now, as far as theory is concerned, we have to simply write, according to Coulomb's law, the magnitude of force F is equal to K Q1 Q2 upon R square. So this is equal to 9 into 10 raised to 9 into 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 into 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 divided by, it is R square. So 30 into 30 into 10 raised to minus 4. So this is equal to, now 9 to the, this is 18 into 9 minus 7 to 2 minus 7, that is minus 5, this plus 4 comes up, so minus 5 plus 4 minus 1, and divided by this 2 zeros, that is into 10 raised to minus 3, and this is 3 upon 9. So you do the calculation by yourself also. So 3 1 ja 3, 3 3 ja 9, and 3 1 ja 3, 3 6 ja. So the total force is 6 into 10 raised to minus 3 Newton. So this is the force of interaction between the two charges. So it is the direct application of the Coulomb's law in the scalar form. Now let us move to question number 2. Again, we have two charges. Q1 is equal to 0.4 microcoulomb, so it should be converted into coulomb. So 0.4 into 10 raised to minus 6 coulomb. The another charge is negative charge, that is minus 0.8 microcoulomb. So minus 0.8 into 10 raised to minus 6 coulomb. Now it is given that the force acting on Q1 due to Q2 is 0.2 Newton. So we have written the magnitude given is F12. There are two parts. You have to find out R as well as the force acting on 2 due to 1. So again, according to Coulomb's law, the magnitude of force is, so F12 is equal to K Q1 Q2 upon R square. Therefore, R can be written as, directly I am writing this, replacing denominator, under root K Q1 Q2 upon F12. So you substitute the value of K Q1 Q2. Remember, we have taken the magnitude. So the Q2 value should be written as 0.8 into 10 raised to minus 6. We will not considering the negative sign. And you substitute this value and find out the answer. Now this is the one way directly you are finding the magnitude of force. Or for the same method, I can write F12 is equal to K Q1 Q2 upon R square. Now it is clear that one is positive charge and another is negative charge. So there is a force of attraction. So we substitute a minus sign where negative sign indicate the force of attraction. So here, when I substitute this value, say F12 will be written as minus 0.2, that is equal to K into Q1 value 0.4 into 10 raised to minus 6, and now for Q2 I will consider 0.8 minus 0.8 into 10 raised to minus 6 divided by r square. So again, if I am considering the direction, the attractive force is represented by negative sign. This negative is cancelled by this negative sign. So again you come to this formula only. Here negative sign of F12 indicates attractive force. So even if you consider this negative sign, it will be cancelled, and again r square can be written as k q1 q2 upon f12, or r can be written as under root k q1 q2 upon f12. So this can be done by two methods. If you are considering the force of attraction or a direction, you take negative sign on both sides, but it will be cancelled. So directly you can also write the magnitude of force between q1 and q2. And from the given, it is clear that the force is attractive in nature. Now second part. The second part is find out the force on 2 due to 1. Now F12 is equal to 0.2 Newton. So if I consider this as Q1 and this as Q2, if I represent this direction as F12, that is a force of attraction, then F21, that will be opposite to F12. It means force acting on Q2 due to Q1 have same magnitude but opposite direction. Therefore, mode of F12 is equal to mode of F21. Therefore, F21 mode is 0.2 Newton only. So we know that a Coulomb's law obeys Newton's third law, that is action and reaction are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. That is F12 is equal to minus F21. So if direction is considered, both the forces have same magnitude but opposite direction, and we conclude Coulomb's law obey Newton's third law of motion. So as far as the magnitude is concerned, both will have a same magnitude and the direction will be opposite. Also you have to note down this thing, that if we take the ratio of F12 and F21, I am talking about the magnitude, then this ratio always comes out to be 1 irrespective of the charges given. The ratio will always be 1 because F12 magnitude and F21 magnitude would be same. So the second part, the force acting on Q2 due to Q1 is also 0.2 Newton. So this is another simple question. Now we move on to question 3. Now what is this question 3? They have given a ratio K E square upon G MP MP. MP and ME, where MP means the mass of proton, ME means the mass of electron. We have to show that this ratio is dimensionless. Now there are many ways to solve this numerical. One is substitute the dimensional formula or substitute units. So let us see the first method. K E square upon G MP ME. Now the unit of K, that was a Coulomb's constant, is Newton meter square upon Coulomb square. Now E is a fundamental charge, that is charge on proton and electron. E square, so units become Coulomb square, divided by capital G. Capital G, if you remember, its unit is Newton meter square upon kg square. Now mass of proton, mass of electron, both are in kg, so kg square. So I cancelled this Coulomb square with this Coulomb square, kg square with this kg square. I get Newton meter square upon Newton meter square, that is equal to unitless, or it is 1. So this ratio is unitless. Since ratio is unitless, it is also dimensionless. So either you substitute the dimension, then also you will get, if you are substituting dimension, you will get m0, l0, t0, a0, etc. But here we have substituted the unit. Now the second method, because the further we have to find out the value of the given ratio also. Now from this ratio it is clear that Ke square comes in electric force and G MP Me comes in the gravitational force. So second method, we know electric force Fe is equal to Ke square upon R square, that is equation 1, and gravitational force Fg is equal to G MP Me, proton and electron are given, R square, so separation is same, so we have taken R square. Now take the ratio, therefore Fe upon Fg is equal to, if you take the ratio R square is cancelled, so you come to Ke square upon G MP Me. Now this ratio is equal to the ratio of the two forces, that is the same quantity. So it is dimensionless, this ratio is dimensionless as well as unitless. So now we write concluding, since Ke square upon G MP Me is the ratio of two same quantity, that is force, the given ratio is dimensionless and unitless. Now let us name this as equation 3, because we have to find out the value of this given ratio also. Now we know the values of Ke, G, MP, Me. So substituting values in equation 3, that is Fe upon Fg is equal to, now this is K, so 9 into 10 is to 9 into E value is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 Coulomb, the whole square, that is the charge on proton or electron, or it is called fundamental electric charge. G 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11. Mass of proton 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 27. Mass of electron 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg. Now after substituting all this value, if we calculate this ratio, it comes out to be nearly 2.2 into 10 raised to 39. Now this ratio or this value is very large. So what we conclude from this? We conclude that Fe is much greater than the gravitational force. So electric force is very large as compared to the gravitational force, and we also know that the gravitational force is the weakest force of the nature. Now let us move to question number 6. Question 4 and 5 are left as an exercise or as an homework for you. Now we move to question number 6, which is also an MCQ only. Now see the diagram. The 4 charges are given which are kept at the vertex of the square having the length 10 centimeter. So QA is equal to plus 2 micro, QB minus 5 microcoulomb, QC plus 2 microcoulomb and QD minus 5 microcoulomb. If you see the diagonal A and C, both the charges are like charges. Similarly B and D. So as far as MCQ is concerned, we can directly find out the answer and it comes out to be 0. The resultant force will come out to be 0 at the center. But let us prove this by writing the theory for it. Otherwise, it is an MCQ. Direct answer is at the center, the resultant force will be 0. Now it is given that keep a charge Q naught 1 microcoulomb at the center. So first I am joining the distance between the center and each vertex and let us denote it by R. Now we will find out the direction also. So let Q naught equal to 1 microcoulomb is placed at the center of square as shown in figure. Again we can do this some orally also, but we are writing the theory. Also OA equal to OB equal to OC is equal to OD is equal to R. We assume that the distance between the center and each vertex is R. Now if the plus charge is placed at the center, we will find out the force of interaction on Q naught due to all the charges at A, B, C, D. So the charge at point A is also positive and at the center the charge is positive. So there is a force of repulsion. I denote this as F naught A. Similarly, the force at the center due to charge at C, it is denoted as F naught C. Now if you see, the magnitudes are same, the distance is also same, OC, OA is same. So both the force will cancel each other. Similarly, now the charge at B is negative. So this positive charge at the center will be attracted. I name this as F naught B. And similarly, this positive charge at the center will be attracted towards this D. So that is F naught D. Again, we will see that the magnitude is same. So the resultant of all the forces comes out to be 0. Anyhow, we write the theory for it. Now let F naught A be the force acting on Q naught at center due to QA at point A. Now I am writing the theory for the first part only. Other theory you can write it by yourself. So this is the force acting on Q naught at center due to QA at point A, and F naught A is equal to, now F naught A should be equal to magnitude as well as direction. So magnitude K QA Q naught upon distance between A and O, which is taken as R, and because I kept a vector sign along, now the direction is from A to O or towards C, so along A. This is equation 1. Now directly I am writing all the other forces. F naught C, so that will be equal to K QC Q naught upon R square, and if you see the direction, it is towards A or opposite to in AO, that is OA. equation number 2. Now this since QA is equal to QC, equation 1 can be written as, so FO naught is equal to, now I substitute this QA is equal to QC, so magnitude will become same but their direction is opposite, so minus F naught C. This is my equation number 3. So the magnitude of A and C is same but their direction is opposite, so their magnitude are equal but direction is opposite. Now similarly we can find out F naught B, that is equal to K QB Q naught upon R square. Now direction along, now this is the force of attraction, so it is along O to B, and F naught D is equal to K QD Q naught upon R square along, that is opposite, again this center charge will be attracted towards D, so along BO. So equation 4, equation 5, also QB is equal to QD, therefore F naught B is equal to minus F naught D, that is our equation number 6. Again QB is equal to QD, the magnitude will be same but direction is opposite, so F naught B is equal to minus F naught D. So we find out the resultant force now. So resultant force at center or on Q naught is F naught is equal to F naught A, superposition principle we are applying, F naught B plus F naught C plus F naught D. Now if we use equation 3 and 4, F naught A and F naught B can be replaced by minus F naught C minus F naught D. So using equation 3 and equation 6, F naught is equal to minus F naught C minus F naught D plus F naught C plus F naught D. So this F naught C will get cancelled, D F naught D will also get cancelled. So F naught is equal to 0 vector, or you write F naught is equal to 0. So the resultant force acting on the charge at the center is 0 because the diagonal have the same polarity. So both were negative, magnitude were also same. Here also both were positive and the magnitude were same. So orally you can find out the resultant force in this numerical. Now let us take another example where the charges on the diagonal do not have the same magnitude. So this sum we take as a homework. You try to find out the answer of the resultant force. So homework as an extra sum, let us again take a square. Let the length of the square be 10 centimeter. Let this charge at A is Q1, let it be plus 2 microcoulomb. At B, Q2, let it be minus 5 microcoulomb. At C, Q3 is equal to say 5 microcoulomb. And at D, Q4 is equal to minus 3 microcoulomb. Now you say the diagonal values are changed. So now the resultant will not be 0. So again the question remains same, find out the charge at Q naught, or here charge at center is Q naught is equal to 1 microcoulomb. Let us take its value as 1 microcoulomb. And the question is find resultant force on Q naught. So this is left as an homework. I am giving you the hint. Now again this Q naught is positive. So first you take this distance from center to vertex as R. I am giving you a little bit of a hint. Again you take this distance as R. So let OA is equal to OB is equal to OC is equal to D. OD is equal to R. Now this is R. This is also R. So this distance of the diagonal is 2R. This is 10 centimeter. This is 10 centimeter. You can use the Pythagoras theorem to find out AC. After finding AC, you divide it by 2, you will get OA, OB, OC, OR. So that is left as an exercise. So distance is taken as R. Now let us first understand the direction of the forces. Now this is positive charge, this is positive. So it will be repelled. So let us name this as F naught A. Or I have given the name Q1, Q2, Q3. So this is force on the center naught due to 1, F naught 1. C will also repel it, but the magnitude of C is more. This distance are equal, but the magnitude is more. So here the repulsion will be more. I am drawing the length of the arrow greater than this arrow, which indicate F naught 3 is greater. Now both are in opposite direction. Both are in opposite direction. So if two forces are in opposite direction, you have to simply subtract it, as we have done in the example illustration 7 or 9 like that. So first you find out F naught A. That will be equal to K Q1 Q naught upon R. This R you have to find out. This is R. Then magnitude is found and the direction we know it is A to O. Similarly find out F naught 3. The direction is from O to A, opposite direction. This value will be more as compared to this value. So what you will write in the terms of magnitude, let the resultant of this is F1. So this F1 can be written as F naught 3 minus F naught 1. So first find out F1 and the resultant will be in this direction. So let this will be your F1 vector. So resultant will be from O to A because F naught 3 is more as compared to F naught A. Similarly, now this is negative charge, minus 5. So this will be attracted towards B. So we name it F naught 2. Again, Q naught will be attracted towards 4, Q4, but its magnitude is small. So as compared to this length, I will draw this arrow small. So this will be called as F naught 4. Again, both the forces are in opposite direction and this force will be more. So now this is the hint I am giving you. So resultant will be in this direction. Let us name it F2. So F2 will be written as F naught 2 minus F naught 4. You have to remember that you find the magnitude of F naught 2 and F naught 4. Only find out the magnitude. Don't take this negative sign while finding the magnitude. Now if you get this as 5 Newton, this as 2 Newton, the resultant will be 3 Newton. So this will be your F1 and F2. So initially we have 4 charges and 4 forces, which is reduced to 2 forces F1 and F2. Now F1 and F2 have a different direction. Now you cannot add or subtract it because the direction is not opposite or they are not in the same direction. So you have to apply the law of parallelogram. So in vector form, the resultant force F naught is written as F1 plus F2. Now clearly, if one force is in this direction, one is in this direction, you will get the resultant at the center. Now the magnitude. So F naught is equal to under root f1 square plus f2 square plus 2f1 f2 angle between 1 and 2, and for a square this angle comes out to be 90, cos 90. So this term is cancelled or it is 0. So you are left with only under root f1 square plus f2 square. So whatever value you get here, the magnitude, you substitute here. So this was taken as f2. So mod of f0 is under root f1 square and f2 square. Substitute the value, you will get the magnitude. And direction is downward. Now how will you mention this downward direction? So it can be written as parallel to DA or parallel to CB. So resultant force, the concluding line, you have to mention the direction also. Resultant force is parallel to, either you write parallel to DA or it is parallel to CB. So you complete this exercise. Here the calculation was very simple. It was an oral calculation. Still we have written the theory. Here the theory or the calculation is required to find out the answer. So I hope you will complete this homework. So we complete today's lecture at this point. Have a good day.